Books on Tape presents The Virtues of War, a novel of Alexander the Great, by Stephen Pressfield. Read by John Lee. A note to the reader. What follows is fiction, not history. Scenes and characters have been invented. License has been taken. Words have been put into the mouths of historical figures which are entirely the product of the author's imagination. Although nothing in this telling is untrue to the spirit of Alexander's life as I understand it, still I have transposed certain historical events in the interest of the theme and the storytelling. The speech that Arrian tells us Alexander gave at Opis, I have made his eulogy for Philip. I have Parmenio in Ecbatana, when Curtius tells us he was still at Persepolis. The harangue that I have Alexander delivering at the Hydaspes he actually made at the Hyphasis, while the plea of his men, which Arrian tells us Canis voiced at the latter, I have him offering at the former. I note this so that the knowledgeable reader will not believe that events are migrating perversely of their own will. I have taken the liberty of using, on occasion, contemporary place names, such as Afghanistan, the Danube, and words such as miles, yards, acres, which obviously did not exist in Alexander's time, as well as such latter-day concepts as chivalry, mutiny, knight, guerrilla, and others, which technically have no equivalent in Greco-Macedonian thought, but which, in my judgment, communicate to the modern reader so vividly and so closely in spirit to the ancient import that their employment may be, by the purist, perhaps forgiven. He ruled over these nations, even though they did not speak the same language as he, nor one nation the same as another. For all that, he was able to cover so vast a region with the fear which he inspired, that he struck all men with terror, and no one tried to withstand him, and he was able to awaken in all so lively a desire to please him, that they always wished to be guided by his will. Xenophon, The Education of Cyrus. Book 1. The Will to Fight. Chapter 1. A Soldier. I have always been a soldier. I have known no other life. The calling of arms I have followed from boyhood. I have never sought another. I have known lovers, sired offspring, competed in games, and committed outrages when drunk. I have vanquished empires, yoked continents, been crowned as an immortal before gods and men. But always I have been a soldier. From the time I was a boy, I fled my tutor to seek the company of the men in the barracks. The drill field and the stable, the smell of leather and sweat, these are congenial to me. The scrape of the whetstone on iron is to me what music is to poets. It has always been this way. I can remember no time when it was otherwise. One such as myself must have learned much, a fellow might think, from campaign and experience. Yet I may state in candour, all that I know, I knew at 13, and truth to tell, at 10 and younger. Nothing has come to me as a grown commander that I did not apprehend as a child. As a boy, I instinctively understood the ground, the march, the occasion, and the elements. I comprehended the crossing of rivers and the exploitation of terrain. How many units of what composition may traverse such and such a distance, how swiftly, bearing how much kit, arriving in what condition to fight. The drawing up of troops came as second nature to me. I simply looked. All showed itself clear. My father was the greatest soldier of his day, perhaps the greatest ever. Yet when I was 10, I informed him that I would excel him. By 23, I had done so. As a lad, I was jealous of my father, fearing that he would achieve glory on such a scale as would leave none for me. I have never feared anything, save that mischance that would prevent me from fulfilling my destiny. The army it has been my privilege to lead has been invincible across Europe and Asia, It has united the states of Greece and the islands of the Aegean, liberated from the Persian yoke the Greek cities of Ionia and Aeolia. It has brought into subjection Armenia, Cappadocia, both Lesser and Greater Phrygia, Paphlagonia, Caria, Lydia, Pisidia, Lycia, Pamphylia, both Hollow and Mesopotamian Syria and Cilicia, the great strongholds of Phoenicia, Byblus, Sidon, Tyre, and the Philistine city of Gaza have fallen before it. It has vanquished the central empire of Persia, Egypt and nearer Arabia, Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Media, Susiana, the rugged land of Persia herself, and the eastern provinces of Hyrcania, Area, Parthia, Bactria, Tapuria, Drangiana, Arachosia, and Sogdiana. It has crossed the Hindu Kush into India. It has never been beaten. This force has been insuperable not for its numbers, for in every campaign it has entered the field outmounted and outmanned, nor for the brilliance of its generalship or tactics, though these have not been inconsiderable, nor for the proficiency of its supply train and logistical corps, without which no force in the field can survive, let alone prevail. Rather, this army has succeeded because of qualities of warriorship in its individual soldiers, specifically that property expressed by the Greek word dynamis, the will to fight. No general of this or any age has been so favored by fortune as I, to lead such men, possessed of such warlike spirit, imbued with such resources of self-enterprise, committed so to their commanders and to their call. Yet now what I have feared most has come to pass. The men themselves have grown weary of conquest. They draw up on the bank of this river of India, and they fail of passion to cross it. They have come too far, they believe. It is enough. They want to go home. For the first time since I acceded to command, I have found it necessary to constitute a unit of the army as ataktoi, malcontents, and to segregate them from the central divisions of the corps. Nor are these fellows renegades or habitual delinquents, but crack troops, decorated veterans, many of whom trained under my father and his great general Parmenio, who have become so disaffected from actions and words taken or omitted by me, that I can station them in the battle line only between units of unimpeachable loyalty, lest they prove false in the fatal hour. This day I have been compelled to execute 5 of their officers, homegrown Macedonians all, whose families are dear to me, for failure to promptly carry out an order. I hate this, not only for the barbarity of the measure, but also for the deficiency of imagination it signalizes in me. Must I lead now by terror and compulsion? Is this the state to which my genius has been reduced? When I was 16 and rode for the first time at the head of my own corps of cavalry, I was so overcome that I could not stay myself from weeping. My adjutant grew alarmed and begged to know what discomfited me. But the horsemen, in their squadrons, understood. I was moved by the sight of them in such brilliant order, by their scars and their silence, the weathered creasing of their faces. When the men saw my state, they returned my devotion, for they knew I would burst my heart for them. In strategy and tactics, even in valor, other commanders may be my equal. But in this, none surpasses me, the measure of my love for my comrades. I love even those who call themselves my enemies. Alone, meanness and malice I despise. But the foe who stands with gallantry, him I draw to my breast, dear as a brother. Those who do not understand war believe it contention between armies, friend against foe. No. Rather friend and foe duel as one against an unseen antagonist whose name is fear, and seek, even entwined in death, to mount to that promontory whose ensign is honor. What drives the soldier is cardia, heart, and dynamis, the will to fight. Nothing else matters in war, not weapons or tactics, philosophy or patriotism, not fear of the gods themselves. Only this love of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?